It's winter, and you can now get almost anything you need for the coldest months of the year delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a ski slope delivered, but you can get dish soap delivered. Sunshine, that's a no. But a bottle of wine, that's a yes. A snow angel, sorry, no. But angel hair pasta, Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol and select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Gummy Clusters, the sweet treat that always elevates the vibe. With a sweet gummy surrounded with tangy, crunchy nerds, every bite of Nerds Gummy Clusters brings you a whole new world of flavor. Whether it's game night, on the way to a concert, or kicking back with your crew, unleash your senses with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Everyone, welcome to the Saturday edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts, and to my right is let me adjust my camera here. I don't have anything clever for an intro, but you know, it's Dustin Henry. Dustin,
it's me, Mario.
It's
all right.
How are we doing, Dustin?
I'm doing all right. Woke up. It's a little bit of a gloomy morning. If I was my younger self, I would definitely start a new video game today. But unfortunately, I have other things to take care of first before I could sit down and start a new video game. After this show, I unfortunately have to work a little bit. I am behind because we have had people out and we have people coming back, but it's a short week for Thanksgiving next week. Woohoo! But I am here now. I'm ready to talk football. Good start to the weekend as any. Always look forward to the shows. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. You know, I actually had this week off from work, so I did a lot of things that mostly it was house stuff.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Thursday, I took a day to kind of not so much get away, but just like, hey, I'll visit a couple breweries I haven't been to, and one just opened up in Warrensburg about 6 weeks ago, which I ventured to, and it's pretty nice. Good food. Got to talk to one of the owners, and come to discover that he also went to the craft brewing certification at Cornell University. So,
that's awesome. See, he got his start. It's gonna happen.
Found another Ivy Leaguer to talk to. And I did order myself a Cornell half zip. So
nice. Hey, you've gone. You have credits from the college as far as I'm concerned. Good enough for me.
Hey. So but yesterday I was doing some other work I wanted to do, so I'll talk off air about that. But
of course.
But we're gonna get into Thursday night football. We're going to some hot food takes. We're gonna get into some week 12 stuff. Wow, week 12 in the NFL. But before we do that, I know, right? Time's flying. Mm-hmm. Before we do that, just want to make sure you give us a follow on social media. That includes on Facebook, facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, to scarcely use TikTok at NoCredsREQ, youtube.com/NoCredsREQ at NoCredsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe where you can find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pandora, and don't forget to get notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live videos go up, when episodes of the Three Rails Hockey Podcast go up, and you'll be notified to give us a like, give us a share, all that stuff. On the podcast side, rate and review. Every rating helps. 5 stars would be helpful. Every review helps if you're on a platform where you can review. If you're on Spotify, if you're subscribing on Spotify, leave us a comment. You can leave a comment on any episode. They have that feature now. And engage with the show. We are a live show on Tuesdays at 7:05 Eastern. We'll be live on Thursday at 10 a.m. for Thanksgiving. That's our annual Thanksgiving show. Hope you come out and say hello and don't bother watching the parade. Well, actually, you can simulcast the parade. Go watch the parade on one screen and have our humble show on another screen.
Yeah, you can do that. But as
Engage with
Ryan
us.
always points out, Santa's going to be there. You can watch it later. He comes every year at the end of the parade.
Yeah.
But you don't know what we're going to do.
No, you don't. No. And I'll save you the spoiler alert. 11:55 a.m. is when Santa comes out. Otherwise, 10 a.m. Eastern, join us here where we talk about football. We talk about the games. We talk about our favorite Thanksgiving foods, all that stuff. You can engage with us. Engage with us. And again, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, unless things change. Sometimes we'll do a Friday show, a happy hour show, or we'll pre-record. But in the meantime, engage with the show. Dustin, I'm looking at my watch. It's telling me something.
It's chime time.
Indeed, it is. All right, so it's also that time. I'm looking at my watch again. It's time for another edition of Hot Food Takes. To start off, we always start off the Saturday show with this, and this week, last week we kind of talked about it a little bit off air. What we're going to plan to do for future Hot Food Takes. This might be an extended edition on Thursday morning for the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
But we were just going back and forth. We're like, what have we done? We haven't done yet. And so, you know what? We haven't done fast food. We haven't really done fast food.
Yeah.
Especially French fries or fries.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all sorts of different, you got your standard McDonald's, you got Burger King, you got Wendy's, but you also have the other brands that, maybe regional favorites, or just anywhere like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Five Guys. Trying to think of other. Even Taco Bell has fries now, which is
I don't
weird.
know. I don't know if I'd be touching those.
I don't know, but Dustin. So for your money, Dustin, if you're going somewhere, you got to go somewhere. Like last week, you mentioned you went to McDonald's and you had regret because you also watched the Tyson Paul fight.
Yes.
But for your money, which is the best fast food? Which restaurant? Which fast food restaurant?
Okay.
And I'm talking like drive-through restaurants, not like a chain restaurant like Applebee's or the dearly departed TGI McFunsters, the one in Clifton Park. But I'm talking about like drive-through. You gotta get somewhere in a rush. It's very convenient. Like, what's your go-to?
Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna split it into two different tiers because to me there are two different classes of quote unquote fast food. You got the mainstays. You got McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. I think a lot of people would consider those the big three, not because they're the best, but because most places have them. You know, so everybody's got that reference point. So for me, the number one with a bullet for French fries is Wendy's. I think Wendy's does a good job. Also, of these three, I think Wendy's makes the best burgers. Shout out to the Baconator, but I remember it fondly by its original name, the Big Bacon Classic. You can take a couple leaps as to why they might have changed that one. Who knows? But so Wendy's gets number one for me of those fries. Number two is McDonald's, but this is a big caveat. The McDonald's fries have to be fresh. They have to be hot. And if you get a good McDonald's fry, it's a good one. They're thin, but they're still crispy. BK, I'm sorry, but you slide in at number three in this tier. And it's not because it's just I haven't had Burger King in a long time. Burger King was a staple when I was a kid in the Henry household. We went there a lot more than McDonald's. I think because my mom loved the rodeo burger. She liked that. It was supposed to be a limited edition for Toy Story, but they liked it so much that people brought it back. And I think she just overall preferred Burger King. So we went there a lot. There were times, though, she would take us to McDonald's, mostly for the Happy Meal toys, if there was some sort of collector or whatever. Shout out to Mom. She was always going above and beyond for us. So that brings me to the end of what I would consider the first tier. Now, the second tier is places like I haven't been, but, In-N-Out, Shake Shack, or Five Guys. I will put Five Guys in this tier, and Five Guys burgers and fries, they get the number one nod for me of all these places. You're starting to talk about some of the regional chains like Hardee's, a.k.a. Culver's, a.k.a. I haven't.
Carl's Jr. Yep.
Yeah, Carl's Jr. Not
Hardee's.
Culver's.
Hardee's. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hardee's / Carl's Jr. and then Culver's is a separate thing. I've never had Culver's. I've never had Whataburger. A lot of Texans are going to come out of the woodwork for Whataburger.
Shout out to Texas.
I haven't had them, so I can't really comment. But I would put them just off of eyeballing things. I put them in the same class as Five Guys, and I give Five Guys the nod because their fries, they're made with that peanut oil. You can get the Cajun fries or you can get the original fries. I love them. They're good. And here's an important factor, Ryan, and I'm sure you're going to factor this in. Five Guys fries reheat well. A lot of these won't. A lot of these other ones won't. You're going to have some problems. So Five Guys gets the number one nod for me, and I might just have to get some for dinner tonight.
There you go.
And with that, and I know we got Uncle Al in the comments. So
yes, I was just about to go to that before I just go on my debate.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell him fire up your fries take, Uncle Al. I know you've got one.
Food take. The Giants are eating Daniel Jones's contract.
Man, we're gonna get into that a little bit.
We're gonna get into that a little bit too before we get into the Thursday night football review. All right, yeah, I mean, it's fair to. I think it's fair to break it up into two different tiers because you have your national brands. You got your McDonald's, you got your Wendy's, you got your Burger Kings, but then you have tier 2, which is the more regional or not well established, like the Five Guys. And Five Guys is actually growing in this area over the last, I'd probably say, decade.
Oh yeah,
because we had one open up with Clifton Park, we had one open up in Wilton, we had one open in Malta. So they're growing in this area, and at least in our locale. I don't know about anybody else if they have if Five Guys has come to their area. They're definitely top tier. It's definitely the top of that group for sure. But you've also got your Chick-fil-A's, which has the waffle fries, and I mean, you can debate whether or not waffle fries are actually fries. I believe they are because it's potatoes. I mean, fries are potatoes. So yeah. I mean, they're good. You also have like Sonic, who has tater tots, but they have tater tots too. So, and big fan of tater tots right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I'm from Irish descent. I'm gonna stand for potatoes all day long.
Oh yeah, you got
But I mean, if you put in tier 1 between the top 3 brands, I would say Wendy's 1 for fries, Wendy's 1, McDonald's 2, Burger King 3, because Burger King's so hit and miss.
It is, yeah.
We hit and miss.
Growing up, we had 2 Burger Kings, and and I'm sorry, but we never liked to go to the one on Wolf Road because something would always happen. It's now a samurai. It's Samurai Japanese Steakhouse. In my opinion, a much better pick. Sorry, Burger King. The one in Latham, still going strong. That was the good one, for those who are wondering. That was the good one.
Yeah, the one in Half Moon was. I mean, when we moved up from New Jersey in 1985. Wow, almost 40 years. 40 years next. It'll be 40 years in February. Oh my God, I'm old.
That's crazy.
But when we lived in New Jersey, we didn't go to McDonald's. We went to Burger King. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the reason was. Maybe because it was cheaper, or my parents preferred having Burger King to McDonald's. But that was one of our go-tos when we first moved up here for a quick meal for when you're at work all day and you're feeding 4 kids to feed, 4 little mouths to feed, who are also very close in age, mind you too. I mean, shout out to my parents for, especially my mom. She's a saint. But
yeah.
but yeah, we would always get Burger King rather than McDonald's. And I know that wasn't really never sure why, but yeah, there's for some reason these days Burger King's hit and miss. McDonald's always a go-to, when you when you're really hungry, they're always a go-to. The closest Wendy's to me is in Saratoga.
Oh, okay. So you got a bit. So you're not
Bit of a
really
drive.
hitting Wendy's up.
No, but it's one of those once in a while treats I get because I like okay, Frosties always bang. All right, Frosties are always a good hit, and I understand, and I get the people with the fries and the tip of the fries and the Frosty. I get that. I mean, that's a pretty cool trick. I mean, that's great. But the only reason why I would go to Wendy's is because they would always have Coke Zero. Like they were the only places that had Coke Zero. I mean, other than Five Guys who had that rotating machine.
Their soda machine is the best, man.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That's what stands out for Five Guys among like the other places. That's why you have that separate tier. Another place that has interesting potatoes for their menu, Bojangles.
Oh, see, I haven't been to Bojangles.
Dude, you gotta go to Bojangles. Next time you're in Virginia, all right? Next time you're visiting Chris in Virginia, and you need something to give you for breakfast, Bojangles.
Oh, okay. We hit up Waffle House a couple of times when I was there, but we didn't get the Bojangles, so I don't know.
Bojangles, man. They get the potato rounds, which are like this giant tater tot, like that big. They got sweet tea. It's awesome. So the first time I went, I got a chicken sandwich, potato rounds, and sweet tea. And they don't give you like the double insulated cups like we have up here, like the paper insulated double insulated paper cups. You get the actual styrofoam cup.
Oh man, that's old school.
Which in my opinion keeps it colder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably does. Yeah,
but New York and all its wisdom and glory said no styrofoam cups. It's like jerks.
I mean, the only thing that I really like, the paper straws I cannot abide by, and
paper straws are garbage. They shouldn't go back to hell where they belong.
And I'll say
along with unfrosted Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I miss the plastic bags too. I'll say it. I miss the plastic bags because I reused those things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember, Ryan? Okay, I'm going to take us off the rails in one of my trademarks.
But that's okay. We're allowed to.
Do you remember when we were kids? You're a touch older than me, not that much older than me. So I consider us like the same tier. But when we were kids, remember they're like, we got to discontinue the paper bags. We're killing too many trees. We got to save the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So then we switched to plastic, and now we're back to paper. It's going to be like the war between the outdoor shopping centers versus the indoor malls. One of them is always going to be in vogue because my mom used to say, like, when they were switching Clifton Country Commons now from Clifton Country Mall, when they were building that, or what do they call them now? The shops at Clifton Commons? I don't even know.
I don't know.
But
I still call it Clifton Country Mall. Okay?
Yeah. But my mom was like, they changed that from when I was a kid. They're basically changing it back to what it used to be. And, so who knows if all of a sudden, like 20 years from now, malls are going to be like making the comeback. I don't know. Things are cyclical.
I mean, we still have Crossgates. We still have Colony Center.
Yeah.
Those are the two big malls in the area. Wilton Mall. Ooh.
Yeah, Wilton Mall.
If there's one place that got hit by Uncle Melvin really hard.
Oh yeah,
it's them. Because I would go to BJ's to get my order, and I just go in to go use the bathroom just to because I hate to go to the bathroom. I'd go in, and it was like the saddest looking place ever. Like the food court was sad, the movie theater barely anybody's going there. There's nobody walking around like there used to be. It's like the saddest place on earth right now.
Yeah. It's like Latham Circle was for like when I was coming up, which Ryan, between you, me, and whoever else is listening, did you ever play Magic the Gathering?
I did, but I wasn't very good at it.
Same. I wasn't very good.
Or I'd commentate on the guys at the lunch table who would be playing. I'd do commentary.
That makes sense. That tracks. But I got into Magic the Gathering. Okay, so this is all going to relate to the mall conversation, but I got into Magic the Gathering heavy for about 3 years. From like 8th grade to 11th grade, I played. I taught my best friend up the street to play, and we would play all the time. Me, Pat, and Joe. Shout out to you, Pat, if you're watching, listening. And the Millers, thanks for putting up with us, because we were probably highly annoying while we were playing that. But so yesterday, I'm watching a channel I follow on YouTube, and they were doing like, a Magic tutorial, and it kind of gave me the itch. And I'm like, do I want to get back in at 41 years old? Do I want to open this Pandora's box? But the reason I talk about it is Latham Circle Mall was the place to go for Magic cards. And like, even when it was dying, like this was one of the last stores in there that survived. Hallmark, Action Man. Action Man is where I went. Hallmark, Action Man, and there was like CVS and like 2 other stores that were just still open when all the other ones were closing. Action Man, I would go there for Magic cards and old NES games. I was in there. I would be in there. Translation, no wonder I never went to prom. But hey, we are who we are. And but yeah, just talking about the malls reminded me of it. I mean, in this area, we used to have Northway Mall, Latham Circle Mall, Crossgates Mall, and Northway Mall. It's Northway Mall Plaza now. There's a bunch of stores in there. But yeah, it's just a nice little segue out of hot food takes. And now we're going to go back into hot food takes and possibly get to football today.
Yes, absolutely. We get to football. We've about 20 minutes into the show. We haven't discussed football yet, which is fine because it's our show. If you don't like it, get your own damn show. So, we actually do have one comment in the comment section again from Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports saying, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you, Kevin. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Again, tune in.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, 10 a.m.
Happy Thanksgiving, football. Kevin. And also, if I'm not mistaken, you are based where there are some Whataburgers. So
yes,
apropos of our topic, and because you are the inspiration for hot food takes, what about Whataburgers fries? Where would you rank them?
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, I haven't had Whataburger. I want to try Whataburger. I want to try Culver's. Want to get In and Out. I've heard about the animal
sauce,
animal style fries with the animal sauce on it. I'm not too partial to mayo based sauces, but that's okay. To each their own. But there's also, I remember watching a video from Matt Mitchell. I talked about him last week, but he ranked Alabama fast food joints that are just local to Alabama. And I'm going to Alabama and try some of these places. So you never know.
Maybe a little road trip is in order. And I have to ask you, because I haven't had them yet, and I almost did it when I was heading down to Virginia, but I thought the better of it, because the only place that I know of where they are up here is Shake Shack. People love Shake Shack.
They're pretty good too.
But up here, the only place you could really get it is on the Thruway. And I'm like, that's probably not the best introduction to Shake Shack, but I do want to try Shake Shack. But I believe they're more like NYC based, aren't they?
They're New York City based,
yeah.
But I have had Shake Shack on a couple occasions. I had it once coming back from a trip to New Jersey, and I had it once coming back from Arena Bowl. I stopped at stops at Vince Lombardi rest area in New Jersey, coming back from Arena Bowl, and I got Shake Shack there. It was pretty good. I will say though, their fries are decent, burgers are okay, but their shakes, they slap.
I mean, it's in the name.
It's in the name. But yeah, I got their Oreo shake. It was delicious. Oh, and Mr. Wilson says, what a burger fries are good. McDonald's is still better. Their burgers blow McD's out of the water.
Okay. All right.
So if we ever visit Texas, we'll definitely have to do a Whataburger review or something like that. I don't know if they have I don't know if they have Culver's in Texas. I know that's a Midwest thing.
Yeah,
I had I had my opportunity to get Culver's when I was in Iowa for my nephew's Barnstormer Classic with Barstool Sports. Never got it.
Dude, I still can't believe you made that drive.
Food regret. Dude, it was
that drive. My dad, 1 year, the Nationals for canoe racing were in like Iowa. And I was like, how was the drive, Dad? And he just goes, flat, corn. That's like he said 2 words to me. Like he said it was one of the most boring drives he'd ever done.
I mean, it's actually surprisingly hilly depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kevin says if we're in Dallas, he'll treat.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
So generous.
We can talk a bunch of Seahawks football and torture Ryan.
Yeah, I'll be tuning out. But there was we stayed in Dubuque. It was surprisingly hilly. So we basically drove I-90 all the way out to past Chicago, and then it takes you to another route, which is kind of a back roads, and not a whole lot of passing, not a whole lot of it's just kind of it's 2-lane roads. So that was the longest. That was the most torturous part. I mean, other than the construction on I-90 they were doing during the day.
It always is.
Always during the day. Come on, Indiana, learn from New York. Do your stuff at night. Anyway, this has been another edition of Hot Food Takes that kind of dovetailed into other discussions.
Yeah.
All right, before we talk about Thursday Night Football, let's discuss the big news that happened yesterday or Thursday. I don't remember. Hang on, I put it in our Discord chat.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Because the little announcement press conference he had was Thursday, right? I think.
Yes, it was. It was yesterday around noontime. Ian Rappaport reporting that Daniel Jones had been requested and was granted his release from the New York Giants. So it's an end of an era in New York. And we talked about this during Hard Knocks. During the Hard Knocks off season, I believe it was John Mara who said, "I'm going to have sleepless nights if we don't sign. I'm going to have a lot of sleepless nights if we don't sign, if we don't re-sign Saquon." Yeah. Well, you're prepared to have yourself more sleepless nights now because you're going to be shelling out the majority of that contract. I mean, as your Uncle Al said, you're going to be eating that contract for a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But I mean, there were some good moments in the Daniel Jones era, particularly 2022. Other than that, I can't think of a significant game that he brought. I mean, actually, no, I'm sorry. 2019 against Tampa Bay, that was like his big, I guess you would say, breakout game. But, I mean, 2023 was a decent season for him, but otherwise, it's been a mostly forgettable time in New York for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's tough, and a lot of people were saying they feel bad for him. I don't feel that bad for him. He made $100 million, so he's going to be all right. Yeah. But the thing is, I think the reason that I kind of feel bad for him, and I want to get your temperature on this too, Ryan, is it's not his fault he was picked. Like, what was it, 6th overall in the first round?
Let's do some mealtime research. I believe it was 6th overall in 2019. But
yeah, I mean, that's not his fault. Dave Gettleman made that pick and put that on him. If Daniel Jones was drafted in the 2nd, 3rd round, which I think if I'd have to go back to draft projections at the time, but I think most people thought he would be available late 2nd round, early 3rd. And if he had been drafted at that point, we'd be talking more about the injuries. We'd be like, oh, maybe he never really panned out injuries wise, and he just never seemed. But because he's 6th overall in the first round, this is like a massive bust. But that's not his fault. You can't say, right. I'd like to take the temperature of some of the Giants fans in my life. Dave, if you're watching, get at me. Uncle Al, I know I'll hear from you. We'll talk about it. But it's like what did you think about his effort? Because that's the thing. I don't think you could ever deny that Daniel Jones wanted to do well and wanted to play. And I never heard anything about him not putting the preparation in. That was not the type of stuff you would ever hear about Daniel Jones. So I think the only thing that I feel kind of bad about is it's not his fault he was picked that high.
Right.
He can't control where it is. And it's not his fault the Giants gave him that contract either.
Right.
That's not on them, or
No.
that's not on him. So, but do you think that he'll eventually find like a backup role somewhere?
I think so. I mean, you can't. I think I definitely agree with you in saying that. Yeah, a lot of what happened to Daniel Jones wasn't entirely his fault, particularly since the Giants didn't build. I mean, they tried to build around him with at least Saquon Barkley. That made him a better quarterback, having a talent like Saquon Barkley behind him to complement him. Otherwise, they didn't give him the receivers he needed until Malik Neighbors came along, and unfortunately he's had a I wouldn't say injury riddled season, but he hasn't been as effective as he should be, as a game breaker as he should be. But then again, this is only his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
And they never put a good offensive line in front of him that could protect him. And you'd see, and there were games where I'd see Daniel Jones on the ground more than he was upright.
Oh yeah,
and it's not fair to a guy. I mean, you could say the same thing about Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Darnold in the Jets and that era for the Jets, where they barely put any. They wanted to build around the quarterback, but just surrounded him with subpar talent in the receiving core. You surrounded him with ineptitude on offensive line, who couldn't protect them, either of them. So, yeah, and a lot of it's not his fault. And like you said, don't feel too entirely bad for him because he's gonna get a bunch of money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of his, I forget which part of his, how much he was guaranteed in his contract, because I can't get into Spot Track because it only shows limited information now. You got to create your own sign-on and pay, which sucks.
Man.
But there's 4 years, 160 million, but it doesn't say. But let me just double check to see how much was guaranteed.
How much was guaranteed of that? Yeah, I mean, and Kevin in the chat making a good point. He's saying he's 27, and with only having to pay the veterans minimum, he'll get another shot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, which that's a good point because the Giants are eating the significant portion of that contract. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of expectations were foisted upon him because of where he was picked. And I mean, Dave Gettleman's tenure as GM of the Giants, pretty forgettable. I think most Giants fans would like to forget it. So
yeah, I can't seem to find his guarantee, but.
And your point about him being on his back more, there was a game last year against the Seahawks. I did a 10 good minutes about it before I went to Virginia. They sacked him, I think, 9 times. That offensive line gave him nothing. And Kevin will know, as a fellow Seahawks fan, last year, the Seahawks pass rush was atrocious. They couldn't generate a pass rush against anybody, yet they got to Daniel Jones 9 times in that game, and a lot more pressure than that. He barely had any time to react back there.
Oh, he also says that a significant game was when he tripped on his way to the end zone against the Eagles.
I do remember that.
Listen, like we can goof on him all we want, but when he was on in 2022, when he was on, especially in that playoff game against Minnesota.
Oh yeah, they beat
against the worst 13-4 team in league history. He managed to get them a win. Then the next week they were summarily pounded into the ground by the Philadelphia Eagles, as it was.
Eagles, yes.
But no, I mean, yeah, he'll land somewhere. He'll land somewhere. I know you shared that article on our Discord. Again, link in the description if you want to join our Discord. We do have a vetting process though. Like, don't be an idiot. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a troll. Be a sane person. But you mentioned about, I said, Dallas Cowboys have the opportunity to do something hysterically funny. But then you shared that article about Mike McCarthy, no relation. saying he wasn't interested in signing Daniel Jones. So there goes that. There goes that.
Yeah, but it'd still be awesome if they did it. Let me put it to you this way: if the Cowboys did that, it would be the bright spot of their season.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it? Whew. All right, we're going to talk briefly about Thursday Night Football's game between the Steelers and the Browns. I did not watch this game. I was actually finishing up another round of the HBO miniseries Chernobyl. So interested to be more.
I gotta watch that one.
You gotta watch that one. You also got to watch. You also have to watch the one that came out a couple of years later, the hidden tapes of Chernobyl.
Ooh.
That one was really interesting.
Oh man, that's probably
they've interviewed. That's when they interviewed survivors.
Wow.
From the liquidation squad to the woman who was the main character in it, played by Jessie Buckley. Super cute.
Oh
Jessie
man,
Buckley.
I definitely got to watch that. But Ryan, now that I know that you have access to HBO, you got to watch The Last of Us, my friend. Season 1, watch it. It's based on The Last of Us, one of my favorite video games ever. The Last of Us 2, I love that video game. Story goes some places you wouldn't expect, but the gameplay, top notch. But here's the thing. Season 2, 2025, spring of 2025, supposedly coming out. I know what's coming in season 2 because based on what happens in the game. And I'm like, how are they going to handle some of this? Watch The Last of Us, man. It's good.
I still have to watch the docuseries about Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that too.
And we gotta do some. We've got a bunch of 10 good minutes.
Yeah, we have them
between that and
Mr.
Vince
McMahon.
Yeah. Which I might just sign up for Netflix and just do a free trial and watch the series, and we'll dig into that.
All right, well, let me know if you do, because I still waited. I've been tempted to turn it on a few times, but I haven't. I said I got to wait for my podcast brother for this. And like I said, maybe we could watch a few episodes together, drink some beers, watch Mr. McMahon.
Right. Maybe we get some Steve Weisers and
no, we'll get the Broken Skull IPA or whatever.
Well, that's what I meant by Steve Weisers.
Yeah.
But yes. So let's talk about this game. I didn't watch this game. I was far too interested in other things to watch. But I understand this was our first snow game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was kind of sad I missed it because I'm in the same boat as you, Ryan. I have Prime, so I have the opportunity to watch Thursday Night Football every week. But honestly, when I saw this matchup, I was like, I think I got some things better to do with my time. And I was hanging with friends. I have two friends, and we watch TV weekly like old people. We pick a new show and we watch it. And so I was doing that. But man, what this game, because I did go back and watch some of the highlights and stuff. I thought the Steelers were going to run away with this one. Credit to the Browns, because I think the Steelers kind of fell into a trap. They came out in the first half and they didn't really look like the team they've been previously. But I want to get your thoughts on this, Ryan, because what this game reminded me is that Browns defense. Was it only a season ago, or was it 2 seasons ago that they were the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL for a little while? This Browns defense still has some playmakers on it, and I kind of forgot about them. I mean, I didn't forget about Myles Garrett, but they have playmakers at other positions too, and Myles Garrett got 3 sacks in this game. So the Browns defense seemed motivated to play because maybe their offense had been so bad previously under the leadership of Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to say it. You have to wonder what the Browns record would be if they went. I don't think they'd be a lot better, but they could probably be a team that was sniffing at the playoffs if they have gone with Jameis Winston the whole season.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. I think their defense is full of stuff. Like the defense is full of stuff. I mean, you can't deny that. And you're right. I believe a couple of seasons ago, I think it was not last season, maybe the season before.
Yeah, maybe.
They were the number 1. They were the top ranked defense in the NFL between Myles Garrett terrorizing quarterbacks and their defense and their secondary playing really well, causing turnovers. wreaking havoc on the field. Yeah, that defense is legit. Their offense just, like you said, with Deshaun Watson being quarterback and him being replaced with Jameis Winston because he blew out his Achilles tendon, which is unfortunate. But Jameis Winston, doing Jameis Winston things, and this game wasn't really. I mean, there wasn't much to it.
Yeah.
In terms of, snow games tend to go one of two ways. Either they're just a total. It's just a slog. It's just a slugfest in terms of defense. Defense is playing well, or just offense is being inept, or they turn into really high scoring games. Like I remember the one from, was it 2011? I want to say 2010, between the Eagles and the Lions when Shady McCoy had all those yards.
Oh yeah,
I think he broke the total yardage, single game total yardage for the Eagles that game. But it was between the Lions and who still had Calvin Johnson, who still had Megatron on the team, and the Eagles. So it's usually one of those two games. This was kind of in the middle. You didn't see either offense doing a whole lot. I mean, Russell Wilson had over 200, almost 300 yards passing, which is pretty. I mean, on 21 of 28 passing. So, but he wasn't taking deep shots. He wasn't really able to take many deep shots because of the weather.
Yeah,
that kind of thing slows you down. And I know Russell Wilson isn't used to playing in that kind of weather. He played most of his career in Seattle, where they didn't see snow a whole lot. You don't see snow on the coast.
No,
a whole lot.
No, Russ is used to playing in the rain, but snow, no. So, but he threw a touchdown. But I think this type of weather definitely limited both offenses, especially Pittsburgh's, because Pittsburgh has the ability to break. I mean, we joked around about how meddling this offense was for the last couple seasons. And now they bring in Arthur Smith, and you're like, oh no, not Arthur Smith. You saw what he did in Atlanta, and they played at a pretty good level this year. Mm-hmm. But in this circumstance, because of the weather, and I think because they're playing in a division game against a rival that hates them, like Cleveland's hatred towards Pittsburgh rivals their hatred towards Cincinnati. Yeah,
but I think
which is saying something.
But also they've had this rivalry longer because of both teams being in the NFL for a very long time. But then switching to the AFC in the 60s. But they still in their same division. And it's still a rivalry game. It's one of the biggest rivalry games in the NFL. And yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you wrote in your show notes that this was a trap game for the Steelers, and that definitely was a trap game for the Steelers, especially after that monumental win on Sunday against the Ravens, where they basically took over first place in the AFC North, and they were 2 games ahead of the Ravens in the loss column. And then having come back down to earth on a Thursday night, it just says something about the Browns' play. And we talked about this on Tuesday about how execrable the AFC is this year. And somehow the Browns are keeping pace. 3-8. They're keeping pace for that final playoff spot, that final wild card spot. So,
man, and it just is crazy because just a year ago, Joe Flacco was leading them to what would eventually be a playoff spot. So, and
he threw 2 pick sixes against Houston.
Yes. I mean, but it does show you how important the quarterback position is. Everybody says, "Oh, the quarterbacks are all people ever talk about." Well, I mean, there's kind of a reason for that. I'm not saying other positions in football are not important. Every position is important. If you don't have an offensive line, you're going to have problems. We could talk about the player who just started at Seahawks at center for the Seahawks last game, and guess what? The line looked a lot better. The Seahawks have not had a reliable center since Max Unger. And maybe this guy is it, because I'll tell you, the line looked a lot better, and I'm excited to watch this Sunday and see what happens. Yeah. But the quarterback position's impact cannot be denied. If you don't have a quarterback, you can't win.
No, you can't. Mr. Wilson in the comments saying, snow. It's how football should be played. Yeah. This looks like a fun game to be in. He also said if you're going to go to Netflix, make sure to watch Cobra Kai. I have watched every season of Cobra Kai up until this final season, so I need to watch that because I was hooked on that until I canceled my Netflix subscription because I didn't really watch a whole lot. So, but yeah, if I'm gonna hook back into Netflix, that's definitely one of my firsts is to watch the final season of Cobra Kai because the season before left me hanging. It left me on a cliffhanger, so I'm curious to see what they do. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's intriguing us in Week 12 of the NFL, so stand by and stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. Yes, let's talk about our friends at Invader Coffee. That's what I'm drinking this morning. Is the pumpkin pecan, which I still have the bag for Dustin.
Same.
Yeah, still have a bag for him waiting for here at home. Has not been opened since I received it last week, but I forgot to bring it with me to our Thunder game.
No, it's okay. We'll get it.
You'll still get it
at one of these Mr. McMahon watch parties. Maybe we'll pass it back and forth.
Maybe, but yes, for sure. Invader Coffee is the best. For my money's worth, it's the best coffee that your money can buy. And right now they got a limited stock of coffee. I go in every once in a while just to see what they got. And right now, the only product that's available is their Mexican K-Cups because of the stupid shipping concerns and shortage of coffee. Unfortunately, it's, there's not a whole lot they have available right now, but they usually let people know. They always let people know when coffee's back in stock. So you get yourself the pumpkin pecan, which is a seasonal flavor for the fall. Their the Christmas holiday flavors are coming soon. Bad Santa, the Cookie Crumble, the Jolly Java.
Yeah,
they're all coming out very soon. I'm gonna get the 3-pack they did last year, and they include free stickers, which is pretty cool. But you could also get the free. You can also get the OG blend, some of their other blends, which are really awesome, air roasted. All that acidity is you don't have to worry about it like with other brands, other store bought brands, which I won't mention here. But get yourself quality coffee, and they have cold brew. They have cold brew in cans now, which is awesome. So if you need a quick pick me up in the afternoon to go with your Righteous Felon craft jerky, you can get yourself some cold brew from Invader Coffee. So what you do is to support the show, support our network, go to the link in the affiliate link in the description. Order some coffee when they're back in stock. And to save 15% off your order, you order promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. Support this show. So, Invader Coffee, thank you for being a long-time affiliate sponsor with No Credentials Required. And I know Dustin loves the coffee, even before he jumped on. Like he'll tell you, even before he jumped on to the No Credentials Required bandwagon, he ordered the Invader Coffee.
Yeah. I was ordering it before I was on the show, and like Ryan's saying, you're gonna find a blend and flavor that you like. A lot of the seasonal ones happen to be my favorite. Donut Dealer. I don't know if you remember that one, Ryan. That one. I love that one. I hope they bring that back at some point. But yeah, the holiday ones, top notch. I can't. If you're looking for a way to spice up your holiday. See what I did there. Grab some of the holiday blends when they're back in stock, because the Jolly Java, the Cookie Crumble, and the Bad Santa, all top tier. And I can tell you from personal experience, they make a great gift, because guess what Invader does for you? They sell a holiday pack where slightly smaller versions of the bags come in a pack of all three. And that was one of my favorite things. And they even put it in a box that vaguely looks like a present when you ship
Yes.
it. So I've sent it to friends of mine. They enjoy it every time.
Yeah. So again, link in the description. It's our affiliate link. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. Get some awesome, awesome coffee. And again, the veteran owned. If you love your veterans, we love that they serve our country. Let's help them. Let's help a veteran owned establishment. Give them as much love as you can. Order some coffee. You won't regret it. All right, we're talking about week 12 in the NFL. Here are the bye weeks just for your fantasy, just so you can adjust your fantasy lineups. The bye weeks are possible fraudulent team in the NFC South, potential Super Bowl champions, two very disappointing teams, a team on the rise that has got the 2-0 from the new coach bump, and straight up garbage, the New York Jets.
Oh man,
I can say that because I'm a fan.
you're a fan.
Yeah. And I don't know if you catch. Oh man, Wednesday I had the opportunity to go on Snowman in the Morning after that. So after our show, I found out I found an article in the Athletic that detailed everything that happened led up to Joe Douglas's firing. All Woody Johnson.
Wow.
All Woody Johnson. So I put Woody Johnson on the hot seat. I let him know what's up. And if all those allegations are true in the article, this season's on him. It's not on anybody else. It's not on the coach. It's not on the players. It's not on the general manager. It's on Woody Johnson and then his middle management. It's like, dude, hire some good football people, man.
Yeah. Let them do their jobs. That's what you hire them for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're going to start with the most intriguing matchup according to us in week 12. And we've got a limited, because of so many teams are on the bye this week.
Yeah.
We're back to those games where there's a bunch of 1 o'clock games and there's only a handful of 4 o'clock games, which
yes,
we got to stagger the schedule. So anyway, lots of 1 o'clock games, a handful of 4 o'clock games, and we got the Sunday night and Monday night matchups. But to you, Dustin, what is the most intriguing matchup?
Well, and I got to say, looking at this game, and I saw your description in the show notes, and it could not be more apt. There's either great matchups this week or they're terrible matchups. There's no in between.
Utter dog water.
I'm sure.
I put in the notes.
I'm sure there's going to be a great matchup, and there's a couple that I could have picked. But for me, I'm going straight to the Monday night matchup. I'm going to the Harbaugh Bowl. Because the Chargers, we talked about it last week. I mean, the Bengals should have won that game. They blew that game. But the Chargers are starting to figure it out. They're better than people realize. I think people are just kind of they shoved the Chargers to the side, myself included. They're like, it's going to take Harbaugh a couple of years to rebuild the Chargers. Guess what? They're doing it faster than you would think. J.K. Dobbins has been a revelation at running back. He and Derrick Henry, two of the best running back stories in the NFL this year, right up there with Saquon. And also, I'll give an honorable mention to Joe Mixon. He's been giving the Texans a running game, which is something they didn't have last year. But that aside, I think this is going to be both Harbaughs like to try to be physical teams. Justin Herbert, it seems like Jim Harbaugh's tutelage is rubbing off on him. He is looking more like the player that we thought he was a couple of years ago. The Chargers still need talent at wide receiver. Will Ladd McConkey continue to reemerge? The Chargers defense has been playing better than people think. And on the Baltimore side of things, they need a win after that loss in Pittsburgh. So they're going to come out angry, and I think they're going to look to establish the run early and get their two tight ends because Mark Andrews isn't the only one playing in this game. Isaiah Likely is going to be back for this one, as I understand it, and also Zay Flowers. How will he factor in? I mean, This one has the makings to be a better game than we think, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, that was one of my games I had on my radar. The one game I have on my radar, and either good games or dog water games. But I'm going to throw my co-host team some flowers.
Ooh,
I got my eye on Arizona, Seattle.
Oh, I almost picked it. I'm glad I didn't now.
So I would have thrown the homer alert on screen, but I
Yeah.
But the Seahawks, I believe you mentioned on Tuesday that this win saved their season. This win in San Francisco saved their season, and they're going up against a team that's trying to establish themselves. They're trying to separate themselves from the rest of the teams in the NFC West. Because right now the Cardinals are sitting at 6-4. Everyone else is at 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is a game behind, and this makes me excited for your team because at least your team is in the hunt. When you kind of thought, I mean, I know Seahawks fans. Maybe our buddy Staniel Smooth is watching. Maybe he'll give a nod of agreement when I say that this year was going to be one of those years. It was a bridge year because having a first-year head coach in Mike McDonald, and this was going to be an interesting year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he can do on defense. He did it in Baltimore for quite a long time, and now he gets to prove it as a head coach. And so far, so good for the Seattle defense. Offensively, I like to see them do more, but you know, I think is it next year that is the final year of Geno's contract? I want to say.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like next year is their contract. There is Geno Smith's final contract. So they got to figure out some things to do at quarterback. Maybe in the draft. Maybe they'll do something in free agency. Hey, maybe they might pick up Daniel Jones. You don't know.
Who knows? I mean, but I feel like they already did that when they signed Sam Howell. They signed a former NFC East starter. So I don't know.
Yes.
From my perspective, they need to draft a quarterback at some point, first or second round. Get somebody in there.
Yeah,
to start developing them.
Sam Howell, who will not eat anything but chicken as his protein. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. Hopefully he's learned and he's moved on to steak and seafood and other proteins.
Oh, I mean, come on, out in Seattle, he's got to go to Pike Place and let the fishmongers pick him out something nice.
Yeah. So I believe the Cardinals are coming off a bye week, and not only are they coming off a bye week, we'll see if it's rust versus rest. But they're also playing in Seattle. And you got to battle not only your opponent on the field, but you also got to take on the 12th man.
Yeah.
12th man who's always loud, always proud. Like you won't see a Cardinal red anywhere in the stands come Sunday afternoon at 4:25 or 4:05. Is it 4:05 or 4:25?
I got to check the time on that. Why did I close my schedule?
I want to say it's 4:25, but you know what? It doesn't hurt to double check.
Yeah, you might be right, but
it's a 4:25 game.
Okay.
Yep. So, and I actually also looked at the map for this week for who Fox is getting, like which region is getting Fox games at 1:00, which games are happening at 1:00. Most of the country is going to be treated. I put in air quotes, to Dallas versus Washington.
Oh my God!
While like a handful of other places are getting Detroit and Indianapolis, or Minnesota versus at Chicago. But most of the nation is going to get Washington, Dallas. And I'm so happy I have Red Zone.
Oh my God. Red Zone. Praise Chris Hansen. So happy. Or Scott Hansen. Jeez. Scott Hansen.
Have a seat. Right over here.
Yeah, Chris Hansen. I don't know. I always do that.
We love you, Scott Hansen.
Oh, man.
Don't add us.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Sorry about it. It's just another Wycheck Weish moment. Trademark Dustin Henry 2020, I think is when that first happened.
2022.
Oh, 2022. That's right. Yeah, you did the relaunch. Yes. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Got it.
All right, moving along to Desperation City / Bounce Back City. And I've talked about this team in the past. I keep saying the Bears. They gotta get back on track because at one point this season, I think it was after week 6, they were in the final spot of the wild card. All 4 NFC West team or NFC North teams, were in playoff spots after week 6.
Yeah,
but the Bears have gone on a downward slide since then, and now I believe they sit at 4-5. They had a 4-game losing streak, and they had a chance to win last week against the division rival and the Green Bay Packers. controversial ending with the blocked field goal. But they got to do it again against another division rival, the Minnesota Vikings, who are, I don't know, for me, the jury's still out on them.
Yeah.
Because I know their defense is pretty good, but their offense has been, outside of Justin Jefferson, has been
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold has the propensity to throw the ill-timed interception like we used to see in New York.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. And I think your summary of the Vikings is apt because they've kind of come back to earth a little bit because Sam Darnold has come back to earth a little bit. Again, the quarterback position is important. That's why we talk about it so much. But also Aaron Jones. I have noticed to my eye, Ryan, ever since Aaron Jones had that, what was it, a hip injury, I think, he's come back and he's looked okay, but not how he looked before that hip injury. I think that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. So that's my desperation city / bounce back city game. And again, the Bears desperate for a win. I mean, even with the change in leadership, even with the change at offensive coordinator, they only still managed 19 points last week. And their defense kept them in the game, just like the last decade. What about you, Dustin? Desperation City. Who's the team to look out for this week?
For me, one game really, really stuck out to me. And this, I mean, still, it's not going to get any easier with some of the injuries that they've got. There are two key pieces that are going to be out in this one, as far as I know. But I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers. They need a bounce back win desperately after their shocking upset at Seattle. Okay. Nobody was expecting Seattle to beat them, especially at home. Seattle historically has had struggles on the road, except for I think the last 2 seasons, that perception has started to change a little bit. But it used to be Seattle was a different team at home than when they traveled under a lot of the Pete Carroll years. But San Francisco, nobody expected them to lose that game. They need to win this game. But what's going to make it tough is that Green Bay defense. Green Bay defense is good now. And also Brock Purdy is out for this one. And from what I understand, Nick Bosa is going to be out too. So one of your key pieces, your pass rush, is going to be out. You're going to have to rely on Jordan Love throwing some ill-timed interceptions as he frequently does this season. I'm sorry, Dave T, but it's true. He does. He throws some ill-timed interceptions. So that's what San Francisco is hoping for. They need a win. And also, I'm going to kind of put it on the Packers a little bit. The Packers have to keep pace with the Lions. They need to win this game in order to do that because the Lions aren't losing to Indy. No way. I'm sorry. Like, people could view this as a trap game for the Lions. They're not falling into the trap, okay? So the Green Bay needs this win as well to keep pace with the Lions. And they barely, as you pointed out, they barely won against the Bears last week. They need to play better. And I don't care that San Francisco is down a man. If they can't figure out a way to stop CMC, San Francisco could find a way to squeak this one out. But that's my pick for the game, for desperation / bounce back city here.
All right. Let's move on to the self-hatred game of the week.
Ready? And pull, Trace.
And the man you heard in that element, still waiting to hear back from him. I let him know invitation's still out there for him, Mr. Cole Johnson, to join us on Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern. So
of course,
give him a heads up. Say, hey, you're welcome. It's tradition. We had you on last year. I think we had him on the year before too.
Yes, we did. Yes. When we did our because I remember talking, and we also had him on. We had him on for one of our Super Bowl previews too.
Him and Jared.
I remember we were talking about food and also what the halftime show could be, the lineup. Yeah.
All right, our self-hatred game of the week. I think we're on the same page here, Dustin, because like I said, a lot of good games, but also a lot of dog water games. And there's one dog water game in particular that we both have our eye on. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks at home who our self-hatred game of the week is?
All right. Well, I almost picked Buccaneers Giants for this. Okay.
Truth be told, I almost did too.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. These two games stick out so much that, I could have picked one or the other. Bucks Giants. I mean, Tommy DeVito, who knows? Maybe he lights a fire under the Giants, but I don't think so. The Bucks are going to be motivated in this one. Mike Evans is supposed to come back, I believe. But the game that I picked, and also my esteemed co-host did, my podcasting brother, is because it just sticks out like a sore thumb. The Chiefs are going to run away with this thing in the first half, okay? The Panthers got no shot. No shot. Sorry, no disrespect to Adam Thielen. Looks like he's going to be back. He's still a good receiver, and it's been sad to see him languishing down in Carolina down there because he still has stuff left in the tank. But I'm sorry, if the Chiefs lose this game, it would be a historic upset. All right, they're coming off of their first loss of the season. They're super motivated to crunch the Panthers, and I think they'll do just that. Chiefs fans are going to be the only ones watching this one. My Uncle Paul will be watching it. He's a massive, massive Chiefs fan, has been all his life. He'll be watching it, but not a lot of reasons to tune into this one.
No, you're absolutely right. And I just want to look at SeatGeek again. Promo code Belly Up Sports at checkout, $20 off your first order, $50 or more. I was just looking at the prices to see what they're going to be. Take a guess at what the lowest priced ticket is for this game.
The lowest? Okay, so we're talking like nosebleeds, like minimum. Right up in there?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go absurd, but I know that's Jets tickets. When you looked up prices, it was like $23. I'm going to say this is $20. $20 you can go.
Actually, the lowest priced ticket is $106.
What? Oh my God, that's the Chiefs bump. That's the
Chiefs bump. It's the Chiefs bump. It's the Taylor Swift bump. It's
wow. So wait, where is this game? Is this game's at Arrowhead then?
It's in Carolina.
Oh my God. Stadium. Oh my God, Dave Tepper, you piece of garbage. Oh my God. That's terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh. No, it's not his fault. I mean, the schedule, it's blame the people who run the schedule, make the schedule.
No, I know that, but he's probably like, oh, we got the Chiefs coming to town. Jack prices for that game. I wouldn't put it past that drink throwing son of a gun. All right.
But yeah, the same reason. It's just there's no. I mean, like I said, this is one of those games where This is the week where you're happy that Red Zone's on. Because
yes.
There's so many games that are just look at some of the games that are on tap. All right. Some of the games are on tap this week in the NFL. New England, Miami.
Nope.
No. Buccaneers, Giants. We don't know what the Giants are going to do. And Tampa Bay is a 6.5 point favorite. Washington is a 10.5 point favorite over Dallas.
Yeah.
Houston at Tennessee, which is it might be a decent game.
Yeah, Tennessee might be able to hang around for a while in that one, but then I mean, yeah.
Denver at Las Vegas, that's going to be a wash.
Yeah,
that's going to be pathetic. But yeah, those are like the four games that are just absolute trash. I mean, at least the Sunday night game is decent. Philly at the Rams.
Yes, that'll be a good one. I almost picked that.
Which you'll see again. SoFi Stadium is the MetLife Stadium of the West, because you're going to see a lot more Philadelphia Eagles fans in that crowd than you will Rams fans. I bet you. And I bet how the Rams will beat the Eagles.
Well, and this too is it's podcast stakes are on the line in this game, because we got Playmaker rooting for the Rams, and we got Cool McCain rooting for the Eagles. Absolutely. And we'll throw our buddy Jared from the corner booth in there. He'll be rooting for the Eagles as well. So
Absolutely. All right, players to watch on offense. I have my eye on Brandon Allen in particular. He gets the start for the injured Brock Purdy against the Packers. It's going to be very interesting to see what. And again, this is against a really good Packers defense, and it's at Lambeau Field. They thought it was going to be a snow game, but it looks like the temperature is going to be in the mid 40s for this game, so won't be awful, but it'll be typical Wisconsin weather for November. But then there's although there was snow earlier in the week, but there's no snow game this week. But I got my eye on Brandon Allen, and Josh Dobbs is his backup. So we'll see what Brandon Allen can do. I suspect, like you said, the Niners will be relying heavily on their running attack, which includes one Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
What about you, Dustin? Who's your players to watch on offense?
Well, you and I are kind of thinking in the same vein here, because the player to watch on offense for me, it's a tie for me, but it's CMC for the Niners. And then I've got J.K. Dobbins in there because for me, he's going to be the key. If the Chargers hope to stay with the Ravens in this game, J.K. Dobbins is going to play a big part because the Chargers don't really have anybody outside of Ladd McConkey to open up the field at wide receiver. The running game is going to be big for the Chargers if they want to pave their way to victory in this one.
Yeah. All right. Players to watch on defense.
I can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
Yep, he's definitely important to the defense. And Dustin, who's your guy to watch on defense this week?
Well, you're going to have to flash the Homer alert on me. I kept the streak alive, everybody. I kept the streak alive. I will have my eye on the Seahawks defense as a whole, but also particularly I'm going to be watching what they do against the run in this game, okay? Will they be able to generate a pass rush on Kyler Murray and kind of keep him contained in the pocket and force him to throw? Although I don't know if I want that because Kyler, he's been making better throws this year. Better decision making from Kyler Murray, but they got to keep him contained too. They can't let him run all around back there. But also, they're gonna have to stop James Conner, who's having. I mean, hats off to James Conner. He just consistently he's good, but nobody really talks about him. Go look back more at his journey, his recovery from cancer, his comeback, everything. James Conner runs hard. He's a great player. And also Trey Benson has slowly been emerging as the clear number 2 threat in that backfield. And they've been using him a little bit more to spell James Conner. So very curious to see what my beloved Seahawks defense can do to stop the run, stop James Conner, and contain Kyler Murray and keep him in the pocket. Ryan, who are you watching on defense?
I am watching the Giants front 7 against the Buccaneers because I gotta see what the Buccaneers, how many times that Baker Mayfield has been sacked this year. And let's take a look at the stats here for Baker Mayfield. He has been sacked 24 times this season.
Oh, wow.
And the Giants still lead I believe they still lead the NFL in sacks.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I'll double check. But the Buccaneers offensive line has surrendered 24 sacks against Baker Mayfield, who's actually also thrown 24 touchdowns. And I believe they get Mike Evans back this season or this game too.
Yeah,
he's been out.
He's supposed to be back.
He was on IR with a hamstring injury, but I'm curious to see what the Giants' defensive front, especially the front 3, will do against the Buccaneers on defense. But I also want to throw another quiz at you here, Dustin. Take another guessing game here. I'm looking at SeatGeek again. Belly Sports to check out. $20 off, $50 or more.
All right.
Take a guess. The lowest price ticket on SeatGeek for this game between the Buccaneers and the Giants at MetLife.
This is at MetLife? Okay.
This is at MetLife. Right.
Bucks Giants. Giants have no stakes. Now Danny Dimes, he's out of town. You got Tommy Cutlets in there, what does that say about Drew Lock? Put Drew Lock in the game. He won a big Monday night game for the Seahawks last year against the Eagles, man.
He did.
At least give him a shot, but maybe they want to see what they have in Tommy Cutlets. I don't know. All right, let me think here. Let me think. $27.
You're close.
Oh.
A little higher. $36.
Right. 36? Okay.
36, right. That's for the nosebleeds.
Yep. And
the maximum ticket is $289, but that's like the lower level 50-yard line. But
let me just uncork the money I have in my account for that. That reinforces that terrible. What a gouge job by the Carolina Panthers. I'm throwing it straight on the shoulders of their idiot owner. That's the reason. I'm sorry, Panthers fans, that you have to deal with this a-hole. Okay.
I'll throw it to a couple of comments before we get out of here. Kevin Wilson, you can throw the homer alert at me too. I don't care. Seattle, Arizona is the most intriguing game. Hey, they're on my radar.
Yeah, because I mean, if Arizona wins this game, how far does that go to cement the division for? I mean,
well, you got to see what happens in the other two games too.
Yeah, and I mean, Arizona doesn't. Arizona hasn't owned the division. They've never really owned it. They never really had a sustained run of dominance. They had the couple of years where they were good with Carson Palmer, but then he went down. And then their season torpedoed. They also had the year with Kurt Warner where they did make it to the Super Bowl. I was rooting for him in that Super Bowl.
Me too.
But they've never really put their stamp. This division has historically been between the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams. All three of those teams have had their moments of dominance in the division. The Cardinals haven't really gotten there yet. Is this their time? Who knows?
Yeah. I was actually wrong. The Giants are second in the league in sacks. Denver.
Denver eclipsed them, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
They did. And we got a new viewer, Champy. Champy in the comment section says, come at me all you want, but all I know is Cardinals are the second best team in the NFC after the Lions.
Ooh, spicy take. Spicy take,
Champy. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Hit the subscribe.
Hit the subscribe. If you subscribe, you hit the subscribe button because we're up to 382 on YouTube.
Oh man,
we're trying to get to 500. So if you subscribe, watch a couple of videos, every bit helps. But thanks for joining us. Yeah. He says the Cardinals are the second best team after the Lions. That's a pretty strong statement, but I may not disagree with this team.
Yeah, the only other team that you could argue is maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, but with the way, okay, so you do a quick comparison. As much as it shocks me to say this, of the QBs, I give the edge to Kyler Murray this year. Mm-hmm. Wide receiver threats, I give the edge to Philly. on that one. Mm-hmm. Defensively, I probably give the edge to the Cardinals. And at the running backs position, I give the edge to Philly because Saquon has been unbelievable. But James Conner, no slouch. He's having a typically good season, as he usually does, provided he stays healthy. So I don't know. They're at least, they make the podium in the NFC. They're at least top three, if not the second best. So Champy, I'm kind of agree with you a little bit here.
Yeah. I mean, their schedule from here on out is pretty tough. So they're at Seattle, then they're at Minnesota.
Yeah. That
home. And then they're home against the Seahawks the following week. Then they're at the Patriots, and they're at home against the Patriots, at the Panthers, at the Rams, and they wrap things up against the 49ers in week 18. So
what you got to figure, some of the 49ers pieces, if they're still in contention, some of their pieces will be healthy by then. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But but thanks, Champion, for joining us again. If you do us a favor and subscribe, we got plenty of football talk to go around Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays at 7:05 Eastern and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we're gonna wrap things up here. Before we get out of here, I just want to remind you to please follow us on social media on Facebook, facebook.com/NoCurdsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, the scarcely used TikTok @NoCurdsREQ, and youtube.com/@NoCurdsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, as Dustin yawns, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and get notified. Hit the notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when either we're live or we've posted a video for the Three Rails Hockey Podcast, which we're gonna record on Monday night. Because we got to record on Monday night again because Brian has a commitment to make. By the way, if he has a Friendsgiving on Sunday night. By the way, if you have Friendsgiving on a Sunday night, straight to jail.
I mean, maybe they're trying to keep it because Sunday night the football game will be on, so maybe they're trying to meld the football and Thanksgiving tradition. I don't know.
No, go to jail. Because my sister a couple weeks ago, she had a friend who invited her on the Friday, 2 days before. On a Friday, she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do Friendsgiving on Sunday at 6 p.m." I'm like, "No, jail."
Yeah, that's kind of. That's also short notice.
It's short notice, and B, it's the day before you go back to work. Like I can understand if you had a holiday on a Monday.
Yeah, that's a good point. But nobody wants to be eating and having the Sunday scaries at the same time.
That's right. No eating and crying. No cry eating. Thanks at Friendsgiving.
Also, I didn't realize you could see me when the elements were on the screen. So
no, I heard you. I heard you yawn.
Oh, you heard me yawn? I hope you didn't hear me in the in the Invader commercial. I was singing along with the Invader trumpets from the ad.
I always whistle along when I hear them. But that's where our mics are muted during the commercial.
Yeah, that's
all right. On the pod, rate and review of a 5-star rating. Oh, Julie from Michigan. She's late, but she's here. Hey, Julie, go Lions. Rate and review on the podcast side. Rate and review 5-star rating would be helpful. If you're able to leave a review, every review counts. Every rating counts. On Spotify, you can leave a comment. They help the show. They help the show. That puts us into the ether of a very vast universe of podcasts that are out there. And again, we're a live show on Saturdays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays at 7:05 Eastern. And we're going to have a show again, Thanksgiving morning, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Watch us instead of the parade. Santa comes at 11:55. So you'll be able to watch the show. Then you won't miss Santa. But engage with the show. We're a live show. Engage with the show. Leave a comment whether you're watching live. We've been getting plenty of comments on the live side.
Yeah.
But on replay, on YouTube, on Rumble. Again, no thirsty hoes. Please asking us to buy their services. Also on Instagram, no thirsty hoes. I know you're trying to like when you like our photos. I know who you are. You're not 47 and you don't definitely look like that at 47 because I'm 47. I don't look like that. Anyway, thank you.
Well, and also they like our posts like 2 weeks after the show happens.
I know, it's so weird. Thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. Oh, I forgot. Total Football Talk Extra will be at 1:00 1:05 this afternoon. So an hour and 40 minutes away. Join me and Drew as we review. We're going to review Monday night's game. We're also going to talk Grey Cup. We're going to review the Grey Cup and the CFL season. So on Total Football Talk Extra. So at 1:05 Eastern, come join us for more football talk. It'll be broadcast here on the YouTube side and on my personal Twitter channel at Who Is Ryan MCC. So join us there. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us for No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Tuesday night. So we'll talk to you then. And until then, enjoy the games. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Gladiator 2 is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Rated R. Years after the death of Maximus, Lucius is forced into the Colosseum after his home is conquered by tyrannical twin Roman emperors. With the future of the empire at stake, he must find strength and honor to return the glory of Rome to its people. Gladiator 2, now streaming on ParamountPlus.com.